I work with Tech, I'm an explorer, and this is a picture of some iron ore heading out to sea. Unlike iron ore, there are other metals around, and base metals, copper, lead and zinc are one of those commodities that people don't hear about much these days, but the reality is that through well production, there's not quite enough copper, lead and zinc going around to meet demand. And that's really what's driving the resources market at the moment. And despite 20 odd years of technical advances and process advances, we're not really that much better or getting that much closer to finding more minerals. The ones that were found were very much those outcropping, and so we're still trying to work out to develop better processes. So what I want to go through today is just this is some dot points, and we know more of those after this, but just describe the exploration process, demonstrate the value of spatial analytics, and inspire those in the industry or those who want to come to the industry to actually deliver more for geospatial. So here's just a classic exploration model where we define some layers which geologists would know about for their geophysical data, there's geochemical data, and some structured data. And so we're just describing some layers of information that are going to combine together to generate some targets. Typically this is often done just in a visual sense, and that's the traditional way. But what I'll demonstrate is what most people already know in this audience, but it's a way of integrating data in a weighted manner, in a more rigorous way. So I'm going to talk about a few basic ingredients. I'll go through some geophysics, the way we combine some geophysics. This example of a reduced coal TMI image. It shows, in some cases, typically big red blobs like that look interesting. Other blobs, other more discrete things might look interesting. There are other ways to display that data. And this is what's called an AGC grid. It highlights individual highs, so you can see the little blobs there. They're of interest in particular models. There are other types of grids, such as the tilt derivative. It actually brings out the bodies, the geological bodies, out of the data. This is all the same data, the same data source, it's just processed and gridded slightly differently. So what you've seen in the last three slides, three images from the same underlying data. We can use those three images in combination to actually pull out anomalies, and this is what Steve was really talking about in his modelling. It's the ability to put together processes and data to produce a result. So from the three actual grids, we've used the tilt derivative to bring out the bodies, the AGC to bring out the highs, and the RTB to assign the magnetic intensity to the data. So this becomes one layer in an input grid. Other things are obvious, for example, SRTN data. This is just a gridded data set showing over a fairly flat terrain, but you can see areas where you might expect to find outcrop, some general systems. On top of that, we can interpret the structures through the geology. This is very much an expert-driven process, so geologists can define the structures and then weight them according to their orientations, and relationships to one another, and also produce things like density maps in the model that might be important, for example, to have locations where there's a lot of density of faults reflecting lots of opening of rock packages where structures come together. Another data set might be something like potassium, reflecting mineral fluids running through the geology and altering the rocks. And you can see here there's some highs down the bottom there. This is another contribution to this model, which we'll see the result of in a minute. So bringing it all together, that's the result. You can see there's some high patches down here and down here. Big magnetic body we looked at to start with was right in here, but we've actually found that there's some interesting trends through there that weren't initially obvious. So I guess the message that I'm trying to get through here is spatial statistics and spatial models, having experts working in the field with in a multidisciplinary way is really important, and getting the value out of data by modelling it, by getting the value out of the data, getting the value for the business, and actually contributing to exploration in a big way. There's lots of other things you can do with data. There's cluster analysis, a whole lot. At the end of the day, you come up with your targets. You have to keep it real. You throw it back into Google. You can see other things in Google. You might see some ion alteration through there that might coincide with things you hadn't thought of before. So it's a matter of bringing it all together. Encourage everyone to really think about valuing data. There's a lot out there, but you really make the most out of it. So thanks.
Thank you, turning over.